So there's something that I have on my heart that I wanted to write about, but I just felt a lot more comfortable just talking about it. And I've never done this before. I don't like talking into a camera. This is like super awkward. But God just put something on my heart, and sometimes you just don't really know what to do with the things that God puts on your heart. And they linger and they stay there for a long time, and you just kind of brush it under the rug eventually because you don't really know how to share it or who to share it with or if it's worth sharing at all. But I've been trying to stop doing that. I've been trying to really capture the things that are pressed in my heart and share them, because I think that there's other people that would be blessed by it. And I think that what I'm about to talk about, a lot of people will definitely be able to relate to. And I'm making this sound like it's going to be like really dramatic and a really big deal. It's not really that dramatic. It's just a little thing that God put on my heart, and I just want to talk about it. So I went to this little concert the other day, coffee shop concert, and it was three sisters, and they all played guitar. One of the girls played banjo, and she played the ukulele, and they were just extremely talented and beautiful and just adorable. They were the cutest little band. And I came away from it feeling so inspired and so encouraged, because I love music, and I've always loved music. It's been my passion, but it's the one thing that always ends up at the bottom of my list after school is over and work is over and doing things around the house is over, and there's just never really time to devote to music. And so it's been a dream of mine that I've allowed to dissipate, because I know that I'll never really have the time to invest in music like I would like to, at least right now. And anyways, I was just so inspired by them, and they had such an amazing dynamic, and their music was just so beautiful and simple, and it just made me want to go out and perform in a little coffee shop somewhere and share my music with the world, because that's something that I've always wanted to do. But when I left, I came home, I played my guitar, and I even wrote a song, and I was so excited to be playing music again. But as I thought about, those girls and that night, I realized how my excitement slowly shifted from inspiration to insecurity. And it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't, a life-changing event. But for some reason, it just really stood out to me. And I was just amazed at how quickly that excitement and inspiration faded as soon as I sat down and I started to play, and I heard myself sing alone for the first time in a long time. And I tried to write this song, and the words seemed so silly and they rhymed too much, and it was just like I just couldn't help but just criticize everything that I did and just compare myself to, not just those girls I had seen, but the music that I hear and the people that I've seen perform. And within like an hour, it was gone. That little light, that little bit of inspiration, that excitement, I had totally just like put out that fire. And it wasn't even intentional. It just happened. I just became insecure, and I didn't even put another thought towards it. And the next day when I woke up, I was thinking about how quickly that inspiration faded. And I started just connecting the dots with so many other things in my life, so many other times in my life that the same thing has happened. And it was amazing to me as I really dug deep and I really challenged myself to think of different, aspects of my life, different gifts that God has given me that I've totally just like given up on because I'm just insecure about it. And, there's been so many people in my life that have really inspired me, whether I was close to them or whether they were just some person off in the distance. And somehow that inspiration lost its power over me because I became so insecure about whether it was drawing or painting or singing or doing some kind of design, anything that was considered art. It's just so easy to be so intimidated and insecure. And so I was just praying about it, and I was really thinking about it, and I was just thinking of how much potential each of us would have, and how many gifts we could really seek out if we could allow ourselves to truly be inspired and not to get caught in that rut of comparing ourselves to, that person or that concept or, that sound or that drawing or that picture. It's like there's so many talented people in the world, and we can either draw from that and we can have, this renewed excitement and use it as fuel to help us to take our own creative path, or we can totally use it to just destroy ourselves and compare ourselves to whatever it is that we've seen. And I think that that's so damaging. And although it was just one instance, I feel like if that becomes a habit in your life, it can be completely life-altering. And at the end of your life, everybody says this, but you don't want to look back and have a million regrets. And I think so many regrets in people's life stem from this. That passion that they really wanted to pursue, but they just convinced themselves that they would never be as good as so-and-so. And you would think that as you get older, your insecurities would diminish because you become more mature and more knowledgeable. And that's just not true at all. And I think for myself, at least, my insecurities have gotten so much worse as I've gotten older because of what I've been exposed to. And that just kind of breaks my heart. And I think it's so unfortunate. And I think that if we are able to shift our focus and shift our perspective as soon as possible, we should. And we should see the world as an inspiration and see other people's talents and be moved and have a desire to, follow in their footsteps or create our own creative path, instead of constantly allowing everything to be a comparison and internalizing everything and being so critical of what you have and what you have to offer. And so my encouragement to you is just, if you feel this way and if you felt this way in the past, I'm sure everyone to a certain extent has experienced this, because there's a lot of talent in the world, and it's easy to become very down on yourself when you feel like incapable of meeting those goals or achievements or needs or whatever. So my word for you is to allow yourself to be inspired without becoming insecure. Because if you can do that, then it'll allow you to eliminate, jealousy and judgment and, that insecurity that I talked about. It'll allow you to have freedom in yourself and your gifts and who you are and your talents. And I think that could really change your life. I know that if it's something that I really focus on and I move forward in this direction with a new perspective, I know that it's going to change my life, because I'm going to operate differently, and I'm going to be proud of what I have to offer, and I'm not going to want to tear other people down, because I can appreciate what they do, and I can value what they do, and I can also value what I do as well, and so that's my little spiel. And I don't know, I just feel like somebody needed to hear that, and maybe that's you. Maybe in 10 years somebody will find this video on YouTube and it will be them. Maybe it won't take 10 years, I don't know. But that's my story. And the second part of my soapbox spiel is I wrote a song today, and I don't write songs ever, because halfway through whatever I try to write, I get super insecure about it and I decide that it's stupid and I don't play it for anybody. The only time I ever successfully wrote a song was at my wedding, and I played it for my husband, and that was only possible because I just wanted to do it so bad, and I was so embarrassed to even play the song, but I just wanted to do it so bad for him, and so I was able to finish the song and write it and perform it. But that was the only one in the 5 years that I have been singing, or 6, I don't know, 8 years, however long it's been. So anyways, with all that being said, I wrote a song and I'm going to play it and I'm going to record it and I'm going to let you hear it. So that is my first step to not being insecure and sharing whatever God has given me, and it's something I really want to work on because I want to be everything that God has created me to be. I don't want to hold myself back, and I don't think that's fair to anyone. It's not fair to yourself, it's not fair to the people in your life, and certainly not fair to God because He made you to, flourish and blossom and be amazing, and so we should really pursue that. Why not? It's fun. So I wrote the song and I'm going to record it, and that's that. Okay.